Welcome to the Shedeur Sanders situation in Cleveland, where the drama isn't just on the field, it's buried deep in the quarterback room. Because in case you missed it, Shedeur Sanders, the Colorado legend and son of primetime himself, was benched and made a healthy scratch right before the Browns' season opener against the Bengals. Not just demoted, scratched. As in emergency quarterback status. As in he'd need a string of injuries and divine intervention just to sniff the turf.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Meanwhile, Joe Flacco, yes, that Joe Flacco, was crowned QB1. Dillon Gabriel, fresh out of Oklahoma and barely used to the weight of an NFL playbook, took QB2. And Shedeur? He's in street clothes, smiling in the stands at high school football games like a local scout with nothing but time and crushed dreams on his hands. But don't get twisted. This wasn't just a football decision. This was political. This was personal. And apparently, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam is livid about it. Let's set the scene. You're Shedeur Sanders. You enter the NFL not as a background character, but as the guy everyone wants to see. Cameras follow you. Brands line up. Your college highlights are looping on social media like a trailer for the next Marvel blockbuster. You're young, hyped, business savvy, and already making headlines before your cleats hit the grass. And yet, by week 1, you're sitting in the locker room wondering how you went from face of the future to clipboard holder behind a 39-year-old veteran and a rookie. Joe Flacco, bless his elite Super Bowl ring, moves like molasses in 4K. Dillon Gabriel is still trying to remember half the playbook terminology. So why is Shedeur, who was supposed to be the Browns' splashy new era QB, not even suiting up? Well, according to sources close to the situation, and by that we mean common sense and a little dramatic inference, this is about ego, about power, and about control. Because Shedeur didn't come into the league quietly. He came with expectations, a media presence, a name, a brand. And that's not something every coach wants to deal with, especially not Kevin Stefanski, a man who's got one foot on the sideline and the other on a banana peel when it comes to job security. Let's be real. Stefanski's not exactly thrilled about being told who to play, when to play them, or how to run his offense. He wants control. Old school, no-nonsense football control. Which is fair unless you've got a quarterback who's half athlete, half media conglomerate breathing down your neck. So what does he do? He sidelines Shedeur, declares him not ready, gives him the dreaded emergency QB3 slot. It's the NFL equivalent of saying, sure, he's on the roster, but don't get too excited. Meanwhile, Shedeur's out here watching high school games. Yes, while Flacco is tossing ducks and Gabriel's throwing warm-up picks. Shedeur is on the Ohio high school circuit like a retired uncle looking for talent to sponsor. He's showing up with Browns cornerback Greg Newsome too, smiling for selfies, handing out sideline advice to kids who probably follow him on TikTok. And look, we love community involvement. We love athletes connecting with the next generation. But when you're a rookie quarterback expected to be the future, and instead you're tailgating with teenagers while your team loses 17-16 to the Bengals. That's not just optics. That's a message. And trust, it's not just fans picking up on the tension. Word is, Jimmy Haslam was furious with Stefanski for the decision. Because whether Shedeur's ready to start or not, scratching him from the active roster in favor of a near 40-year-old Flacco and a totally unproven backup, that's not a football move. That's a power move. Haslam sees the brand potential. He sees the jersey sales, the media coverage, the future. And Stefanski? He sees a young QB who doesn't fit his script. The fallout? It's coming. You think Shedeur's going to just sit quietly all season while Flacco limps his way to 3 and outs? While the Browns' offense continues to put up barely double-digit scores. Nah. What you're witnessing is a slow burn. A quarterback controversy in the making. And we haven't even reached week 4. Because here's the wild part. Shedeur can't even go in unless there's a literal disaster. Thanks to NFL rule changes, third-string quarterbacks aren't just next man up anymore. They can only enter the game if QB1 and QB2 are both injured or ejected. Equipment malfunction? Not good enough. A bloody nose and a twisted ankle at the same time? Still nope. It's like a fire alarm behind glass. Break only in absolute emergency. So while Shedeur could literally be the most talented quarterback on the roster, and let's be honest, he just might be, he's effectively locked out unless chaos reigns. And while he's being told to be patient, to wait his turn, to develop quietly, the city is watching. The cameras are watching. And Shedeur is not shrinking. He's showing up. At games. On the sidelines. In practice clips. Still wearing the chains. Still posting the content. Still being Shedeur. And maybe that's the real problem. The league and coaches like Stefanski don't know what to do with quarterbacks who come in already famous. Already branded. Already bigger than the playbook. They want development in a vacuum. Quiet, humble, behind-the-scenes growth. But Shedeur's development is on camera. In real time. With every move watched, clipped, posted, and analyzed. So now the Browns are sitting on a potential star, benched behind Flacco's dying arm, and a rookie still adjusting to the speed of the game. Meanwhile, Haslam is likely pacing in his office, wondering how much longer he can pretend this isn't going to blow up. And it will blow up. Because Cleveland is not a patient town. They love drama almost as much as they love disappointment. And when the offense starts sputtering, and it will, those chants, they're coming. We want Shedeur. You'll hear it in the stadium, on the radio, in every tweet from frustrated Browns fans who've spent years praying for a franchise quarterback who isn't either a controversy magnet or a broken experiment. And when those chants start, Stefanski's seat gets hotter, Haslam's pressure gets heavier, and Shedeur's stock skyrockets. He doesn't even have to play to win. He just has to wait and stay visible. And judging by the Ohio high school tour he's on, he's got visibility on lock. So let's hand out another fake award while we're at it. The Best Supporting Actor in a Quarterback Room Meltdown Award goes to Shedeur Sanders for giving us the best off-field performance of Week 1 by being everywhere, but in uniform. He's not playing, but he's playing the game. And the Browns? They'd better figure it out quick. Because this isn't just a quarterback controversy. It's a culture clash. Between old-school coaching and new-school athletes. Between systems that want obedience and players who are built for visibility. And Cleveland? Oh, you're on the clock. So what do you think? Is Stefanski blowing it? Should Shedeur be starting? Or is this all part of some genius master plan? Hit the comments, give us your hottest takes, and don't forget to subscribe, because this story, it's only getting messy, eh? The Browns aren't just juggling quarterbacks. They're juggling egos, expectations, and the glaring spotlight of a fan base that has zero chill. And when you've got a quarterback room that looks like the cast of a chaotic reality show, veteran dad energy from Flacco, fresh out of college Dylan Gabriel, and the full-blown media magnet that is Shedeur Sanders, you know someone's getting voted off the island. Let's talk about that QB room dynamic for a second. Picture it. Joe Flacco, clipboard in hand, offering calm, monotone advice about defensive reads. Dylan Gabriel nodding nervously, trying not to look like he's still Googling the Browns playbook. And then there's Shedeur. Designer sweats. Diamond chain. Hoodie pulled low. Sitting back with the quiet confidence of someone who already knows how this season's story ends. And it ends with him holding the ball. And make no mistake, Shedeur isn't sulking. He's calculating. Because this isn't just a waiting game, it's chess. And while Flacco and Gabriel are busy trying to survive the next game plan, Shedeur is thinking 10 moves ahead. He's studying defenses, sure, but he's also studying narratives. He knows how this goes. The NFL isn't just about talent. It's about timing and momentum. And he's waiting for his moment to be undeniable. Here's the thing no one wants to say out loud. The Browns' offense isn't built to thrive under a guy like Flacco anymore. It's not 2012. You can't just manage a game and hope your defense handles the rest. Fans want electricity. They want movement. They want someone who can extend a play, make something out of nothing, throw off schedule, and sell jerseys while doing it. They want Shedeur. But instead, what do they get? A heartbreaking 17-16 loss to the Bengals in Week 1. An offense that looked stuck in the mud, while a dynamic, highly marketable QB watched from the sidelines in street clothes. And the fans? Oh, they noticed. You could hear the rumblings before halftime. Why isn't Shedeur active? Why isn't he getting reps? What's Stefanski doing? And then you have Jimmy Haslam, sitting in his owner's box, trying not to combust. Because let's be honest, Haslam didn't greenlight the Shedeur Sanders acquisition just for the vibes. This was a business decision. It was about headlines, youth, star power, a potential franchise face. He wanted the next big thing. He wanted primetime, part 2. Instead, he got Flacco, which is like ordering a Tesla and receiving a well-maintained minivan. Technically still runs, but no one's posting it on Instagram. The tension is palpable. Stefanski knows it. The locker room feels it. The media's sniffing it out like sharks circling in pregame pressers. Every time Shedeur gives a quote about being patient or supporting the team, it just feels like we're inching closer to a plot twist. And let's not forget who his father is. This isn't just Shedeur navigating this drama solo. He's got Deion Sanders in his corner, a man who, let's be honest, has never met a camera he didn't love or a narrative he couldn't flip on his head. Deion's watching this whole Cleveland circus with a smirk. He knows what's coming. Because here's the reality. When the offense stalls again, and it will, the calls for Shedeur will get louder. And when that time comes, he's going to be ready. He's already ready. This isn't someone who needs to adjust to the speed of the game. He's been playing under pressure with the world watching since his first college snap. You don't build a brand like Shedeur's by accident. You don't become a walking headline if you can't back it up. And the Browns are about to find out what happens when you try to keep the spotlight off someone who was born to be in it. Now let's zoom out a little. This moment isn't just a team decision gone wrong. It's a case study in what happens when old-school football conservatism crashes into new-school athlete empowerment. Because Shedeur doesn't need to start to stay relevant. He doesn't need to play to build buzz. He can literally do a walkthrough in his Gucci slides and still trend on Twitter by lunchtime. The league isn't used to this. They're used to rookies being silent, obedient, grateful for the opportunity. But Shedeur? He's the opportunity. And he knows it. And while some might call that arrogance, it's really just an understanding of value. Shedeur isn't trying to be the next Peyton Manning. He's trying to be a hybrid of Tom Brady, LeBron James, and Travis Scott. QB/mogul, athlete/businessman, the face of the franchise and the front row of New York Fashion Week. So yeah, watching him ride the bench while two less marketable, less dynamic QBs struggle to ignite a basic offense, it's a waste. A waste of talent, a waste of momentum, and a huge missed opportunity for a team that hasn't had a consistent quarterback since flip phones were still a thing. Let's just say it, Cleveland fumbled. And not in the, oh well, maybe next time way. In the wow, you had a golden ticket and used it as a coaster way. But don't worry, it's not over. Because Shedeur's playing the long game. He's building goodwill. He's showing up to high school games. He's talking to young athletes. He's laying down roots in a city that doesn't even realize how badly it's going to want him once this season goes sideways. We're calling it now. There will be a QB controversy. It might take 2 or 3 more losses. It might take a post-game presser where Flacco shrugs and says, "We just didn't execute." But it's coming. And when it does, Shedeur will be ready, polished, poised, still wearing that chain, still dapping up fans in the front row, still carrying himself like the starter he already knows he is. Because the truth is, you can only keep a star on the sidelines for so long. Eventually, the light gets too bright. The crowd gets too loud. The pressure gets too real. And when that happens, the Browns will realize they didn't just bench a rookie. They benched a movement. So let's cap this act with one more honorary trophy for the shelf. The Bench Me If You Want, But I'm Still the Star Award, presented to Shedeur Sanders, who managed to turn Friday night high school games into must-see events, and somehow made not playing more entertaining than anything Cleveland's offense put on tape in Week 1. This isn't just a quarterback controversy. This is a full-blown slow-motion sports opera, The kind with passive-aggressive press conferences, locker room whispers, and sideline glances that could melt a clipboard. And as the Browns continue to fumble through a season that started with more questions than confidence, the Shedeur subplot? It's starting to look like the plot. Now let's talk about body language, because in the NFL, what they don't say on the mic speaks louder than anything they say in post-game interviews. You've seen the footage, right? Flacco on the sideline, looking like he just filed taxes instead of throwing a football. Gabriel nervously flipping through laminated play sheets, hoping no one calls his number too soon. And Shedeur? Shedeur is chilling. Lean back. Calm. Watching. There's a quiet intensity about him. Not in the I'm upset kind of way. No, this is the I'm letting y'all dig your own hole energy. It's that look of a guy who knows the script ends with him under center. And all this early drama is just the prelude to a viral comeback montage. Let's talk facts. The Browns haven't had a quarterback who could command a room, light up a stat sheet, and own a post-game presser in years. They've had hype. They've had flashes. But what they haven't had is a true cultural icon under center. Someone who can unite the fan base and sell jerseys, who makes primetime slots feel like primetime. That's what Shedeur brings to the table, even from the bench. And yes, the front office knows it. Jimmy Haslam is no stranger to high-stakes business plays. The man knows that in the NFL, perception is reality. And right now, the perception is that his most valuable asset is being treated like an extra in someone else's movie. You think that's sitting well with him? Not a chance. Meanwhile, Kevin Stefanski is out here playing a dangerous game of trust the process. But this isn't 2017. And this isn't Philly. There's no time for long-term development plans when your team is barely hanging on to playoff relevance. Every week, Shedeur doesn't play? That clock ticks louder. But let's talk about the real kicker here. Cleveland loves a savior. This is a city that wants to believe. They've had to. They've endured decades of false starts, of draft busts, of QBs who looked the part until the lights came on. What they crave, what they need, is someone who delivers on the promise. And Shedeur? He's dripping with promise. You can feel it. Every time his name trends. Every time a fan posts a throwback highlight from Colorado, every time a camera catches him smirking behind his headset, it's like the city gets a little more restless. The locker room? Don't think they don't see it, too. NFL players talk. They know when the guy riding the pine has the goods. And they definitely know when the guy playing doesn't. There's only so long you can watch a drive stall before you start wondering what would happen if Shedeur was in the pocket instead. And here's the best part. Shedeur isn't asking for the spotlight. He's letting it come to him. He's staying quiet, professional, posting the occasional cryptic IG story, just vague enough to get the fans talking, just subtle enough to avoid a fine. That's power. That's control. And it's terrifying for a coaching staff trying to keep a lid on a boiling pot. Because they know, the minute Shedeur gets on the field, there's no going back. If he throws even one dime, one deep touchdown, one no-look scramble into the red zone, it's over. Flacco's done. Gabriel's riding the pine. And Stefanski? He better hope Shedeur doesn't start stacking wins, because that means he's no longer in control of the narrative. And you better believe Shedeur wants that narrative. He's not here just to play quarterback. He's here to make history, to follow in his father's footsteps, not just as a player, but as a culture shifter. Dion redefined swagger in the NFL. Shedeur? He's redefining brand identity in the quarterback position. We're in a new era, people. This isn't just play well, get paid. This is own your name, tell your story, build your empire. Shedeur already has the blueprint. Now he's just waiting for the first chapter to go live on NFL Sundays. And when it does, watch the fireworks. Because don't forget, this is a guy who could be spending his rookie year anywhere. But he chose Cleveland, chose the grind, chose the chaos. And now he's embedded in it, watching, learning, waiting. Meanwhile, the Browns are 0-1. The fans are restless. The offense is anemic. And the guy with the biggest upside is literally sitting in the bleachers at high school games, probably thinking, I could be out there right now. And he could. This is what makes the situation so volatile. It's not that Shedeur might be good. It's that he probably is. And when the fans finally get a taste of that potential, that leash on Flacco and Gabriel is going to look a whole lot shorter. We're 1-3 interception game away from full-blown meltdown. One bad snap away from Stefanski being asked why his most dynamic player still hasn't seen the field. One awkward post-game interview away from Haslam pulling rank. And you know Shedeur's camp is ready. They're not going to come out swinging. They don't need to. The pressure will build naturally. And when it breaks, the Browns will either lean into the chaos or get swallowed by it. So let's end this with one more imaginary trophy, shall we? The Best QB in Street Clothes Award, presented to Shedeur Sanders, for proving you don't need to play a single snap to dominate the narrative, control the headlines, and make an entire city wonder. What if? Because that's the question Cleveland is going to be asking all season. What if we played him? What if he's the guy? What if we've had the answer sitting right there this whole time? And when the answer finally walks out onto that field, when the stadium lights hit that helmet and the crowd erupts, and the cameras cut to Deion Sanders smiling in the luxury box. Oh, it's game over. So what do you think? When does Shedeur take the field? Will Stefanski cave to the pressure? Or are we looking at the most high-profile bench warming in NFL history? Drop your take in the comments. Light it up. And while you're here, subscribe. Because trust me, this QB drama is just heating up.